¿Qué onda, you guys? Today I'm going to show you guys how to customize cheaply and effectively your own caps. So for those of you that know me personally, probably not a lot, but you guys know that I wear a lot of hats in my day-to-day. Arguably, you can actually say that I wear hats too much. I don't know, one of my favorite accessories that I like to use to tie an outfit together, so I wear them a lot. Like a lot. What are you watching?
Geography now.
Okay.
Do you know geography now? No.
I think I don't know about you, but I really don't like spending a lot of money on like my hats. So like anything that's like $20 or even $10, I'm not really about. That seems like way too expensive for something that's, I don't know, this. But I personally like thrifting, so like a lot of the hats that you find in a lot of thrift shops are like maybe $1 or $5. So I have a lot of them because I like how hats look on me. And I have actually been so surprised that I haven't customized my hats, or one of my hats. So I did. So this tutorial is to show you guys how you can do the same cheaply, and it'll be really fun. So let's get started. So I already had a ton of acrylic paints, so I didn't want to go out and buy a whole new set of fabric only paints. So I looked at a couple videos, I looked on this one article, and it said that I didn't need to go out and buy all these new paints, thankfully. I just needed a mixer, or like a fixative, to mix in with my paint. And then the fixative will make the paint stick to the fabric better. So that's the only thing I needed to buy that I had outside of my paints. So in this video I'll be using Liquitex Basics acrylic paints. They're pretty light body, I would say, or like medium body. Definitely not heavy, so I recommend this to really anyone. They're pretty simple and have a decent price, so take that as you will. So the fixative that I'll be using in this video is the Golden GAC 900. No particular reason, just because I didn't have any other one, and I couldn't find any other one, so that's the one we'll be using in this video. Now you don't really need to use the same paints that I'm using in this video. I'm just using Liquitex because that's what I have on hand, but if you don't have any paints and looking to go out and buy some, there's some really cheap 50 cents, $1 little bottled craft acrylic paints that they sell at Walmart or like the dollar store, so you can go ahead and use those. Don't make anybody feel like you can't use something because it's cheap or because it's not expensive. I've seen people make wonderful art using really cheap materials. A perfect example using one of my favorite artists is this artist called Birdie. He does a lot of anime drawings and a lot of Pokemon drawings. I don't know if his commissions are open. You're gonna have to check on his Insta for that, but go ahead and check out his YouTube. It is solid. He makes a lot of content because he owns two businesses. I think he freelances as a designer / artist.
Full yellow flowers. So I took a photo of it, and we're going to be using it as a reference for this painting. This is my stash. You know what? I think that should be good to start.
But he uses a bunch of cheap materials, so like mechanical pencils, Crayola crayons, and Crayola color pencils, acrylic paint that you can find at your craft stores, so there's no excuse for complaining on the materials you have. So speaking of Walmart, while you're there, you might as well pick up a really cheap palette and a pack of brushes. Probably run you around less than $10, definitely. That's not including the cap, but like I said before, just thrift any $5 to $3 hat at your local thrift store. So the whole reason you want to get a fabric medium is because the polymers of acrylic paint can't bind to the polymers in the fabric that you're painting on. It'll stay on top, but it won't adhere. And that's where the fixative comes in. So the fixative prevents cracking. It makes sure that the paint is actually really bonded well to the fabric, and etc. Now on my bottle of GAC 900, it says to actually seal it, you have to iron it on. So I haven't done that with any of the hats. I've been meaning to, I just haven't gone around to doing it. Okay, lay off my back. But literally I've worn a bunch of the hats that I've customized wear and tear in the rain, and they've lasted a good minute. I haven't really washed any of them, so I can't tell you like in regards to that. But if you don't iron it and it cracks, it's not my fault. Let me take these backsies. So now that you have everything you need, you can finally start conceptualizing what you're going to put on your hat. So what I recommend for most people is to just start doodling in your sketchbook or on a piece of paper what you want on the cap and like what it's going to look like, what colors you're going to use, etc. So this is the prime time brainstorming phase on what you're going to do. But if you're gangster, like me sometimes, you'll just paint straight on the hat. So make sure you decide what colors you're gonna use beforehand. It's just gonna help you in the long run. Trust me. The more you plan, the less heartache you have while you're doing the actual thing. All right, folks. I've decided. This is kind of like a orangish brown, and orange is good with blue because they're complementary. They're like opposite of the color wheel. But I think I'm gonna stick to my original idea, which is the two different kinds of blues. Well, magenta, purple, and yellow. And I'm gonna try to incorporate this pizza pattern because I like it too. This, not this. Now I gotta confess, I started recording two different hats at the same, actually 3 different hats at the same time. My first 3 customized hats. But I went on my Mexico trip and I think I deleted the footage by accident. I know. I recorded a whole new hat. See, we fix things. We fix things around here. We don't complain. Just shut up. So once you figure out what's going to be on there, you got to actually start mixing your paints. So two big things you have to remember while mixing your paint. Once you mix the color that you desire to be on the piece of clothing, you're going to want to put that same amount of fixative into it. So mix that, 1 part fixative, 1 part paint. You don't need to worry about the fixative changing the color of the paint. It starts off white and I got scared at first when I first tried it, but in my experience the color always reverts back to where you had it originally, so you don't need to worry about that. Second thing is that the fixative also kind of works as a retarder, so the paint's gonna go a lot further, like way further than it normally would. So you don't need to worry too much about it drying up on you. But of course, like anything like you're painting or any palette you're trying to save, you want to put some cellophane wrap over it when you're not using it, or put it in a stay wet palette. So once you got your colors mixed in, you're going to want to actually sketch what you plan on drawing onto the article of clothing / cap. What I used to sketch it out was a Micron Graphic 1 liner. That's the only thing that was kind of thick enough, but not too thick. Pencil didn't really show up well, so that's what I used. Again, if you're gangster, you're gonna head and just paint your base on your cap. You're gonna do the same thing after you draw the sketch out, for those of you that are sketching it out. So once you got all your colors mixed in and your sketch sketched, you're gonna want to paint a base primer of white. Everywhere you'll be painting is where you're gonna paint a primer of white first, so it's gonna have a white silhouette at first. So after you paint that primer, you're pretty much set to go. Go ahead and paint whatever you're gonna paint. It's just like anything else really, it's just a different canvas if you're familiar with painting already. If you're not, if you're pretty new to painting and you don't really know what to do, here's some tips. Be careful not to glob too much paint on the brush. When you're starting out, it's always better to less is more in a sense. So like build your way to getting more paint onto your brush so that you don't. Another tip, if you do mess up, what I did was grab a little cotton swab of rubbing alcohol and I kind of rubbed out the bleeding that was happening and some of the mishaps I had throughout painting the hat. So you can do that for little minor mess ups. And this is a really hard thing to do, especially for newer artists or newer painters, I should say. Don't rest your hand on your canvas or your hat or your jean denim jacket, whatever you're painting on, don't rest your hand on it. If this is particularly hard for you, if you can't lift up your wrist while you're doing it, I would say get a ruler or get some sort of stick, and I forget what that's called, but painters, you know what I'm talking about. But like it's like this, get a ruler, get a stick, and then that's what you're gonna lean your forearm on or your wrists on, depending on the angle you're painting, and that'll help you with that wrist problem. And you know, try out all the different kinds of brushes that you bought in your pack or that you have around your house. You never know what you might like, and the things that you think you might not like, you actually do like. So try different things. And it also kind of helps if you know the style of how you're painting or like what look you want to go for. So don't be afraid to look at different reference pictures. I know a lot of people try to put other people down for looking at reference, calling it cheating or tracing, and that's a whole nother thing entirely. But if you're referencing something and not copying it, it's a clear difference. Then go ahead. If you need to look at 10 pictures of a leaf or 20 pictures of a flower, go ahead and do it if that's what you need. So go ahead and use reference. It's one of your tools. And that's about it, really. Go wild. I have explained and guided you up to this point, so everything else is up to your little heart's content. And most important, I think, is to have fun. I mean, like, this is a hobby / passion for a lot of people, and if you like it, you like it. And if you're not liking what you're doing or enjoying what you're doing, then maybe you should stop doing it. So that's the most important thing. Is just make sure you enjoy yourself while you're painting, or else there's not really any point to it really now, is there? And guys, don't stress yourself over stuff like this. If it didn't come out the way you wanted to, or it came out ugly or something like that, then just try on your next piece. And if it doesn't work out the way you wanted to, then try your next piece. You know, we get better with practice. So don't kick yourself, but try to encourage yourself. And guys, don't stress yourself over stuff like this. If it didn't come out the way you wanted to, or it came out ugly or something like that, then just try on your next piece. And if it doesn't work out the way you wanted to, then try your next piece. You know, we get better with practice. So don't kick yourself, but try to encourage yourself. What's up, guys? I'm editing the video right now, and I just realized I'd never got a shot of me actually wearing the cap. Maybe it's because I wear it so much on the daily. I remember I wore it as soon as I finished it. That's what it looks like on me. Yeah. I posted it on Instagram. Didn't get too many likes. I think it's because of its UCF hat, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. So, back to the video.
I've been all in my bag. You been all in my business. You be all in your feelings. I've been all in them trenches. I've been all in my bag. You be all in my business. Know they notice me flexing. Fit in all of my fitness.
And the best part about all this is that it's pretty cheap. Get yourself maybe like a $2 hat from the thrift store, a 50-cent palette, some $1/50 paints, a paint set or a brush set. Everything I just named could run you less than $15, if that. Probably less than $10. So like, the world is your oyster. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. I hope you guys enjoyed how the hat came out. I really enjoyed making the video. Go like the picture of the hat on my Instagram. And yeah, bye-bye. One more thing before I leave you guys off. The shirt I was wearing in the video, so this one, I'll put a link to the artist's website in the description. His name's Jamo. He's really, really dope. He's a South Florida artist, so go ahead and check him out. So as of me recording this video, he no longer will be producing apparel. So everything he has on his website right now is on sale because he's trying to get rid of it all. So if you like the shirt or anything you see on screen, highly recommend you go ahead and cop something. And then while you're there, go ahead and check out his actual original comics. They're pretty cool too. If you're interested, go ahead and check him out. He does clothing, comics, he has a bunch of prints too, so yeah, that's really dope. Yeah, go check him out. So that's all from me, guys, so bye bye.